Hey everyone, welcome. I am the Caffeinated Critic. Here we review new feature and series releases, and we do not finish the review until I finish this cup of coffee. So, without further ado, let's get started with Scream 7. So, Scream 7 is finally here, and instead of playing it safe, it really tries to mix things up. It takes risks, introduces new ideas, and puts our characters in some spots where they are not normally at. When a new Ghostface killer emerges in the town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. And to start, I will give this film credit. It's not the same Scream film that we've seen before. But here's the issue with this. Just because something's different does not mean that it always works. And the main moment that every Scream film hinges on, the reveal, is interesting in this film. Stay till the end of the video to figure out whether the reveal worked for me or not. So to start, let's start with what works in this film. One of the strongest aspects of Scream 7 is how Ghostface is handled. The kills in this film are highly creative and innovative and unlike anything we've ever seen before. A particular sequence in this film that stands out is the bar sequence because it involves a really scary kill that had my whole theater gasping with fright. It's the kind of scene that reminds you that the Scream franchise may still have potential. Now let's talk about Sidney Prescott's return. Unlike the previous films, Sidney is no longer reactive. She's highly proactive in this film. You really feel like she can defend herself and her family. She's aware of the situation she's in, she understands the threat of Ghostface, and she's ready to defend herself at all costs. And if you really strip this film down to its core elements, it's a story of motherhood and connection in a world that is pretty harsh and unforgiving. Sidney's relationship with her daughter Tatum is also a highlight of this film. This is a believable relationship that feels grounded in a Scream film that really feels like more of a parody of itself than anything. When you buy into the dynamic between these two characters, it makes the stakes and the events surrounding them feel more grounded and real. As a result, in my opinion, the film does go beyond just nostalgic callbacks and member berries. However, this is where the film starts to trick you. Now let's talk about what doesn't work here. There is a reintroduction of the characters from Scream 6 in this film, and they are introduced in a way that doesn't necessarily work for the narrative. They are given almost nothing to do, and they work for one of the old characters that we know and love, but they really have nothing interesting going on in their lives. And then there's the cold open of Scream 7. The cold open is also a key moment in every Scream film. The cold open here is underwhelming, to say the least. It lacks creativity, and the two characters that are involved in it, I didn't care about at all, whether they got slashed or not. The cold open just kind of feels like an obligatory thing that the filmmaker just needed to include because the last films had it. And for a franchise known for like legendary openings, especially the one with Drew Barrymore, this is a miss. And then there are characters who have a ton of plot armor in this film. They get stabbed in the gut multiple times and they're still walking around. It just doesn't make sense. And I get that Scream has been a parody of horror films, and that was sort of the gimmick that the franchise was built on, but it kind of goes too far here. It becomes unintentionally funny, and kind of takes you out of the experience. This film also tries to correlate Ghostface's actions with modern technology and artificial intelligence, which I feel like those two ideas don't necessarily mix in a Scream film, and it just doesn't work for me. And now, let's talk about the reveal. Unfortunately, the payoff of this film is also underwhelming. There's no strong emotional impact here, and the moment was filled with tension. However, I didn't really connect with the killer's intentions here. The reveal becomes slightly predictable because of where characters are at certain points in time. We also have the obligatory meeting of characters and talking about the rules of horror films in this. And where those characters were at in comparison to other characters in the story really clues you into who is involved in the murders. And once the reveal happens, it becomes really difficult for this film to recover, and I found the film to be pretty bland after all that, to be honest. So, Scream 7, it's a film with good ideas that don't necessarily come together cohesively. There are some strong elements here, creative kills, a proactive return to Sidney, and an interesting narrative that keeps you engaged right up until the reveal. For a while, the film kind of manipulates you into thinking this is a new and original Scream film, but then the ideas just don't work. So I would say if you're a diehard Scream fan, you should probably check this out, but if you're a casual Scream fan, you can wait until it goes to streaming. So on the caffeinated scale, I'm going to give Scream 7 instant coffee. Yeah, it's pretty meh. And look at that! My cup of coffee is empty. Here's proof. I hope you feel as caffeinated as me now that I have finished my cup and this review. Please let me know if there are any other films in the future you would like me to review. In the meantime, I will keep brewing new reviews for you soon. See you next time.